No one screamed when they realized the mirrors were wrong. They just stopped looking at them. In that house, reflections didn't always follow your movements. Sometimes they smiled when you didn't. Sometimes they stared back with recognition you couldn't return. And sometimes, according to the few who stayed long enough, the face in the glass wasn't theirs at all. People moved out quickly. They avoided explaining why. And those who tried never agreed on what they saw. Because the house didn't show you monsters, it showed you truths, the versions of yourself you'd learned to ignore. And once the mirrors noticed you were watching, they didn't look away. The first thing people noticed was not the mirrors, it was the silence. The house sat at the end of Alder Row, a narrow street where sound usually carried. Lawnmowers, arguments, children on bikes. But near the house, noise softened, as if swallowed. Visitors later struggled to describe it. They said the air felt padded, as though the world had been wrapped in cloth. The mirrors came later. The new owner, Mara Ionescu, moved in alone. 34, archivist by profession, the kind of person who trusted records more than memory. She liked the house because it was old and unsentimental. Plain siding, narrow windows, no decorative flourishes. It didn't pretend to be warm. On her first night, Mara brushed her teeth in the upstairs bathroom and noticed something minor, easily dismissed. Her reflection smiled a fraction of a second too late. She froze. Toothpaste dripping onto porcelain. She leaned closer. The mirror caught up, perfectly normal now. Tired eyes, stray hair escaping its clip. She blamed exhaustion. Moving always did strange things to the mind. She did not mention it to anyone. The next incident came 3 days later. Mara passed the hallway mirror carrying laundry and saw, clearly, unmistakably, someone standing behind her. A man. Tall, dark hair, his face calm in a way that felt practiced. She turned, heart lurching. The hallway was empty. When she looked back, the mirror showed only her own narrow shoulders and the yellowed wallpaper behind her. No distortion, no trick of light, just absence. That night, she slept with her bedroom door locked. Mara's training taught her not to trust impressions. She cataloged the events like artifacts. Time, location, conditions. She noted that the distortions occurred only in mirrors mounted to the house, never in her phone screen, never in the reflective surface of a kettle or window. She noted that the house itself creaked differently when she stood near a mirror, as if the walls adjusted their weight. She bought a second mirror and leaned it against the bedroom wall. It behaved, always matched her movements, always showed her face. That should have reassured her. It did not. On the fifth night, she woke to movement. Not sound, movement. The subtle sense of being watched by something that was not using eyes. She stood and crossed the room barefoot on cold wood. In the bathroom mirror, her reflection was already awake. It stood straighter than she did. Its expression was alert, almost curious. "Stop," Mara whispered. The reflection did not. It raised its hand. Mara stumbled back, pulse roaring in her ears. When she looked again, the mirror showed her alone, breathless and pale. She covered the mirror with a towel. The following morning, the towel lay neatly folded on the counter. Mara began researching the house. The municipal records were thin, built in 1961. No major renovations. Ownership changed often, too often. No deaths officially recorded on the property, though the absence felt deliberate, like a sentence edited too carefully. She started asking neighbors. Most claimed not to know much. A few hesitated in ways that suggested agreement not to remember. An older woman across the street finally spoke. "People say it shows you," she said, not meeting Mara's eyes. "Just not the way you expect." That afternoon, Mara noticed a new detail. Her reflection's eyes did not always match hers. Sometimes they were sharper, sometimes older. Just once, they were unmistakably someone else's. A child's, wide and afraid, staring out of her face as if through a window. She smashed that mirror. The sound was enormous. Shards scattered like ice across tile. For a moment, each fragment held a different expression: anger, relief, recognition. Then they went dull. Mara wrapped her hands, bleeding, and laughed hysterically until she cried. That night, the house rearranged itself. Doors that had always opened left now opened right. The hallway seemed longer. The spare bedroom mirror, previously small and oval, had become a full-length rectangle, its frame carved with shapes she did not recognize. She did not remember installing it. In its surface, she did not appear at all. Instead, the mirror showed the house empty. Dust on floors, light fading through windows, years passing in seconds. People entering, men, women, families, each pausing at the mirror, each flinching in a different way. Some saw themselves aged and ruined. Some saw strangers wearing their faces. Some saw loved ones who were still alive, staring back with accusation. One man leaned close and whispered, "I didn't know." And the mirror smiled for him. Mara backed away slowly. She understood then. The mirrors were not broken. They were selective. The sound was enormous, shards scattered like ice across tile. For a moment, each fragment held a different expression: anger, relief, recognition. Then they went dull. Mara wrapped her hands, bleeding, and laughed hysterically until she cried. That night, the house rearranged itself. Doors that had always opened left now opened right. The hallway seemed longer. The spare bedroom mirror, previously small and oval, had become a full-length rectangle, its frame carved with shapes she did not recognize. She did not remember installing it. In its surface, she did not appear at all. Instead, the mirror showed the house empty. Dust on floors, light fading through windows, years passing in seconds. People entering, men, women, families each pausing at the mirror, each flinching in a different way. Some saw themselves aged and ruined. Some saw strangers wearing their faces. Some saw loved ones who were still alive, staring back with accusation. One man leaned close and whispered, "I didn't know," and the mirror smiled for him. Mara backed away slowly. She understood then. The mirrors were not broken. They were selective. That night, Mara dreamed of standing inside the walls, watching through glass. She dreamed of faces pressing forward, desperate to be seen, of lives unfinished, of selves abandoned. When she woke, the mirror in her bedroom showed her asleep, except the reflection was smiling. She stopped sleeping in the house. She stayed late at the archive, napped in her car, drank coffee until her hands shook. Still, the mirrors followed her, in restrooms, in darkened windows, in the reflective backs of picture frames. Not always her reflection. Sometimes it was a woman with Mara's face but different scars. Sometimes a man who looked relieved to be seen. Sometimes nothing at all. The final realization came quietly. Mara was not the first to see wrong reflections. She was the first to look back. The house, she realized, did not distort people. It revealed the versions of themselves they had refused to carry, the selves shaped by choices unmade, truths denied, harm ignored. The house collected them, stored them, gave them shape. The mirrors were crowded. On the last evening, Mara stood in the hallway and uncovered every mirror at once. The house inhaled. Reflections layered over one another. Dozens of faces, some familiar, some not, all wearing fragments of her features. They looked tired. They looked unfinished. "I can't keep you," Mara said, voice steady despite the fear. "But I won't pretend you're not there." The reflections stilled. One by one they aligned. At last the mirror showed Mara as she was, exhausted, frightened, but whole. No delay, no substitution. The silence lifted. Mara sold the house a month later. The listing mentioned unique reflective features. The buyer toured alone. On the day Mara left town, she passed Alder Row one final time. The house stood quiet, ordinary. In the front window, a reflection watched her go. It did not wave, it only waited. And long after Mara was gone, people would continue to say the house felt wrong, not haunted, not cursed, just honest in a way that made staying uncomfortable. Mirrors, after all, only show what's already there. The trouble begins when they refuse to lie.